people are still trying to get used to this venue. That was why I stayed on the phone because people were calling. Is it Adelabu? Is it? I said, no, Bulana Drive. So we're just going to kick off because once it is 12, we must start at 12. Even our master of ceremony took the wrong street. So they are trying to, everybody will soon get acquainted here shortly. So, let me see, is it by way of introduction again? I run a foundation. We help victims of domestic violence and abuse that you know. Basically, we've extended also into for children going through child abuse, child defilement, and so on. So people think we're human rights lawyers. I'm not a human rights lawyer. That's the first thing they say. Hello, is that the human rights lawyer? I say, no. I'm not a human rights lawyer. What we just deal with is family law. So over the years, it's going to about 21, 22 years now, that we have been in this, I won't call it ministry, I'll call it industry. And what I have amassed over the years, what I have seen, what I have recorded, the shocks that I've been through, the wisdom that I have gathered is what I present to everyone. Welcome, Mommy. I want to especially recognize the servant leader of this house, our partner with whom I'm collaborating with. She took our foundation right under her wings. The servant leader, Apostle Folorunsho Alakija. She is the visionary behind the Rose of Sharon Glorious Ministry International and the University of Marriage, where we are seated. I want to, first of all, invite her up for a words of you, but please let's put our hands together to acknowledge your presence. Thank you very much, man. We know you are busy, but you still find time to just spare some time with us. Thank you very much, man. So, Mommy, anything to say? Let me just, you don't have to stand up, man. You can.
It's a pleasure to have everyone here. You're all very welcome. We thank God for your lives. This program is extremely special to God. And Barrister Olumide is even extra special to God. So everyone that comes should know that this is a very, very good opportunity to be able to come and listen to what's going on here and put their input and open their hearts and know that God cares for you, God loves you. And he wants us to live in a world that will be good for each and every one of us to love and live together by his grace. Because he created each and every one of us. And he wants us to have the best of the best. To not to endure, but to continue to love one another deeply. And God will continue to open our eyes and give us grace to be able to live together with one another. God bless you. You're welcome.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. So, 12 to 3 is our time. We must utilize. People are on their way. They will catch up when they come. If anybody already has a question or anything you might want to ask me, I would. And I also will share one or two thoughts in continuation of what I spoke about today with you. So let us start with us in the house. You remember the parable of the 10 virgins? Some people always have the extra oil to come on time before they close the door. So you are special people this morning. Let me just face you directly. Anybody with any question first? Regards relationships, your marriages, you know. Any question first before I delve in? Yes, sir. Okay, there's
question that I want to ask, you usually tell us that when there's a divorce, the man, especially traditional marriage, the man should request for the bride price. And the question is this: how do you go about requesting for the bride price?
Okay, thank you. Let me have that. The law here in Nigeria recognizes the Marriage Act recognizes two kinds of marriages. That is, marriage under the law, which is statutory marriage, that is the court registry, and then traditional marriage. Traditional marriage slash Sharia marriage. So, by law, once you want to divorce and your marriage is statutory, that is, you went to the court registry, it goes through a process of first separation for 2 years. And after 2 years, you can now file a petition for divorce. That is for statutory marriage. But for traditional marriage, it goes by traditional rights, which is the refund of the bride price. If a man is no longer interested, he makes it known to the family of the wife that I am no longer interested. Before, in the olden days, he would take the bride back to the family house where he was given and there make the request for the bride price. But now, maybe some elders are able to do that. Usually they go with their elders, but the request is formally made. It is not something hidden. It's not something you would say it loud and clear to the family. Welcome, sir. And tell them you are no longer interested and request for your bride price. Now, if it is the woman that is not interested, the woman is also free to leave. What she would do is contact the family and refund the bride price that she is no longer interested. So it's not a one-way thing. The woman can say she's not interested, refund the bride price. The man can say he's no longer interested and demand his bride price being paid back. But there was a case in Kano last year where a woman had undergone some kind of abuse and had given the man 4 children and 20 years. And when the man said he was no longer interested and demanded the bride price, the woman refused to give the bride price. The matter went to court, and she said if he can restore her back to how she was before the 4 children and 20 years of marriage, then she would refund the bride price, but not after the beating, not after 4 children, not after the sacrifice. She would now pay him back. And the court upheld and agreed with her that if he can do that, restore her body to how it was when you first got her, and she won the case. So there's a precedent, especially in abusive marriages, where the woman leaves. She can use that, law is case law. And that is now a precedent that if you cannot restore my body to how you met me, I am not paying anything. But that one is not after a man has taken care of you and then you are the one that now caused the whole thing, or maybe you are caught in adultery or you are the abusive wife. And you are now saying you won't pay back, he should refund you after the man did right in the eyes of the law. You understand? It's usually in cases where women have suffered abuse, and that is a very good precedent for the Nigerian legal system. Because when you have abused a woman, you have demeaned a woman, she's stayed with you, given her substance, and then you just say you are not interested and refund my bride price. And how much is the bride price? The case we are working on, Precious, that came to the radio station this morning, the bride price was 1 naira 65 kobo. And she had been beaten, battered, and bruised, locked up at the police station and all that because of 1 naira 65 kobo. Thank you very much. Any other person? It's fantastic. Now, I have always dedicated the month of March to domestic of a statistic and a trend. Over the past 11 years, I had noticed that the rate of domestic violence in the year is determined by the month of March. That is, if the rates, the statistics increase in March, then it increases throughout the year. It always comes to a peak in November. This was a phenomenon that was so consistent that I have checked all through history, religion, even through astrology to find out if there is anything about the month of March that determines the curve of abuse in the year. And it has been consistent. Last year, we lost 36 women in 28 days in the month of March. It's always, once March starts, it's always bloody. But if it goes down in March, then it goes down throughout the year. So I always dedicate the month of March to awareness against domestic violence and abuse. There was one thing I treated today, and I would like to briefly treat it. Please, as people are coming, if there's any question, just raise up your hand, but I want to round it here also. I call it the abuse of the simple. I have explained the kinds of abuse. I have explained that particular abuse called silence, where you are told not to tell anybody what is going on in your home, where you are battered and bruised and you are told to be quiet. You are told not to respond. But today I talked about the abuse of the simple. Now, let me quickly explain. I call it the abuse of the simple, or married to a simple man. There are some people in this life that believe that they are kind, they help others who are in need, and they hold no grudge against anyone, and they don't practice wickedness or evil. So because they are kind, then they believe only nice things should happen to them. Their ideology is this: because I'm passing and I meet a lion on the way, because I did not attempt to harm the lion, then the lion should not attempt to harm me. They are called the simple. Now, the Collins Dictionary explains and says the word simple. When someone is simple, you mean that they are not very intelligent or have difficulty learning things. The simple person is referred to as a simpleton. The Cambridge Dictionary describes a simpleton as a person without the usual ability to use reason and understand. The Collins Dictionary defines a simpleton as a person who is stupid or easily deceived. The word stupid simply means a silly or unwise person, poor in judgment, little intelligence, and slow of mind. Britannica describes a simpleton also as a person who does not show good sense of judgment. The synonyms of a simpleton are fool, idiot, dunce, and a moron. History records the wisest man who ever lived to be King Solomon, son of another king called David. King Solomon defined humanity in three basic classifications: the wise, the foolish, and the simple. The wise, not that they are born wise, but means that they are always eager to learn. They are eager to learn new things. So their eagerness to learn makes them wise. The foolish, not that they are born foolish, but they believe what they know is enough and are unwilling to learn new things. They are reluctant to new ideas and knowledge. They are always self-confident in the things that they know, believing they know enough. So these people are always resistant to learning new things. A particular character of the foolish is their self-confidence. When you think that confidence exudes knowledge, you need to wait until they open their mouth and try to solve a problem. So you cannot be easily, you shouldn't be moved by the appearance of confidence. The third classification by King Solomon are the simple. The simple are neither wise nor foolish. The problem is that they are incapable of independent thought or personal opinion. They are led by the opinions of others. They do not think deeply. Now, when you look at Proverbs 14:15, it tells you the simple person believes every word. They believe all that they are told. But the wise consider their steps. That is, the wise think before they act. The simple person is not committed to wisdom or foolishness. They are neither wise nor foolish. They are apparently deficient in intelligence, and it signifies a degree of intelligence inadequate to cope with anything complex or involving mental effort. So, it is being psychologically or emotionally lazy. They cannot commit to thought. Now, these people have their minds always made up for them. They do not have an opinion. They live by other people's opinion. They are referred to as simpletons. They are unaware, naive, undiscerning, uncommitted. They can be born of both wise and foolish parents. So it's not by cause of birth. It's not by condition of birth. You will know them as they are always asking for other people's opinion. You are married to somebody. If anything happens, they pick up the phone. Mommy, this, Kinikinshe, daddy, my friend, or my pastor. They have other people running their lives for them. This is the worst level of abuse you can have, because they are always at the opinions and thoughts of others. They cannot think and have a genuine, original opinion. These are the people King Solomon warned about. Proverbs 22:3 says, "A wise man sees trouble from afar and hides himself, but the simple walk into it and are punished." The essence of being simple is the consequence of punishment for a lifetime. Now, why is it the abuse of the simple? The loudest voices on earth are the voices of tradition and religion. The voice of tradition is the voice of the dead trying to control the actions of the living, while the voice of religion is the voice of man trying to control the actions of other men by doctrine. So you have these as the loudest voices on earth. And now, the simple person is not committed to wisdom or foolishness. They are unaware, undiscerning. And when you go through Proverbs in the Greek, you will see that the word simple is described more as open. They are like an open vessel, an open cup, an open door. So anything enters. And this is where the problem is. They are always led by the voice of tradition or religion, depending on which one comes first, because they are open. At the end of the day, they become fanatical because they have no restraint. They cannot think to know when to stop. They cannot digest. They are undiscerning. So they end up becoming the fanatical Christian or the enforcers of tradition, because they cannot ask questions. They cannot think. They are not bold enough to question. So they are either carried away by tradition or religion. This is the problem. They are open to anything and as such easily led or misled. The problem is that their decisions are not their own but made for them. So they are neither wise nor foolish, they just are. The abuse of the simple. There is nothing worse than having a simple person as the head of an organization or a simple person as the head of a home. You find them as voices on the pulpit because they obey instruction. Go and teach about this. They have no form. They have no character. They are neither solid, they are neither liquid, they are neither gas, they are neither bitter nor sweet. They just are. Neither hot, neither cold. The simple person are the most dangerous, the simple people are the most dangerous of all people because they are not because of what they are, but because of what they are capable of becoming. We have them a lot in some instances where a man came to me and told me that the problem is that it is whatever my mother-in-law says that goes in the house. I mentioned of a woman, after 2 kids, she had already talked to her husband before they got married. They agreed that they will have 2 kids. And after the second child, the mother-in-law came to visit one day and said, what's going on? That she wants her grandchildren now. It's 5 that we are going to. And, she thought it was a joke. Until the husband came one day and said, we have to have more children. And she said, you and who will birth them? Me? That no, 2 cesareans are enough for her. And it became a problem that she must not have 1 more, 2 more, but 3 more. Exactly what the mother-in-law has demanded. And that became such a big issue that it led to the dissolution of that marriage. The wish of the mother-in-law, where a child cannot think, but it is what the mother says. It is what our Olori Ebi says. It is what my pastor says. It is what, several women. Nigeria topped the chart for paternal fraud. That is, on checking DNA, you find out that the first child of the home does not belong to the husband. Some women tried a petition last week to stop DNA testing in Nigeria. Why? Because people just keep finding out that this is not my child. This is the man collapsed 3 days ago after finding out that his 3 children do not belong to him. And then the neighbor said, why now waiting in they find, now you see, why he go do DNA? What was the problem of the woman? She did not conceive on time, so they took her to different prayer houses. You know those people that carry pictures of people to the altar as if God does not know how they look like. It's a problem when you are trying to tell who created them that this is how they look like. You go from one prayer mountain to the other, and then they tell you that, okay, come, and the man said that there is one oil that he has to anoint her womb with. And she says, no problem. And when she came at that night, after the program, he brought out the oil, and he said that, well, his hand cannot get into the womb, so he would anoint it through his own genitals and rub into her womb. That was how he started anointing her womb, and she started getting pregnant. 1, 2, 3. God answered her prayers, didn't he? Simple people, when the voice of religion takes over, when tradition takes over, the Bible tells you, especially those Christians amongst us, that wisdom is profitable to direct. But when you substitute wisdom with doctrine, that means it is wrong from the beginning. Whatever doctrine says is wrong, because even your God says wisdom is what will direct. There can be no wisdom without knowledge, because wisdom is just the application of knowledge. If you don't know, there is no way you can be wise. Here is the dilemma of simple people. You are dating, usually they say the first child or the last boy or the first boy or the first girl, usually under the control of family or friends, or where you notice that this person is not able to decide. We'll call this, we'll sit down, call that, is always sweating under pressure. They're called simpletons. It is the worst state to be feared, and a lot of abuse that is going on now from people married to simpletons, people who are simple, because no longer is love directing the affairs of the home, but the opinions of others are directing the affairs of your home. I will give you another example. This happened about 5 years ago. Yes, in 5 years. It was 2 years before I came on the radio. A lady was dating the husband, or the boyfriend before became husband. Her love language, she likes touching. She's the touchy type, so she touches the back of his head and usually strokes his beard. He's a bearded guy. So, she likes stroking his beard and touching. And he liked it because at times he would lay down, put his head on her laps while, she would stroke his hair, pluck his beards, and they were okay. They got married, everything was okay. Then she got pregnant and delivered, and the mother-in-law came for Omugo. And as they were talking one day, the mother-in-law sees her touching the head of her son and stroking his beard. And she goes out, and the mother-in-law closes the door, and they have a very, very deep conversation. So, some days after, they went out on a shopping spree, and, like the wife does, while they were shopping, she stood leaning on her husband and plucking the beards and touching the head, and the husband slaps her hand off and says, "What you are doing will not work." And she was wondering what, it was like shocking. And he shouted at her that you cannot take my glory. You cannot turn my destiny. You have to stop all this. I know what you are doing. It will not work. Right there in ShopRite. Outside, the wife walks out in shame, embarrassed, and they got home. It was hell. And she just didn't understand what was going on. And she went to the mother-in-law and said, "Mommy," she was crying, and the mother-in-law asked, and she said, "I was just touching his head and kidding." And when she finished, the mother-in-law now asked, "So, is that what they told you to do, to be touching the head of my son?" And she said, "Touching the head. That I rub it, it's a plaything." He said, "They don't play with leg. They don't play with, it is head that you are playing with, pulling." I said it will not work. And that is how she was labeled a witch. Eventually, she left. Beautiful woman. She left because the boy that it was acceptable to, all through their dating, all through their marriage until the first child, then suddenly the voice of mother-in-law came in. The simple. They are not able to say, "Mommy, no, we play like this. As she's touching my head, me too, I'm touching her head." The abuse of the simple is a problem because they become extreme. What they are is not the issue, but what they will become is the issue because they are open. They are feared, though they are to be feared and dangerous. It would have been better that you are hot or cold. It would have been better that you are wise or foolish. It would have been better that you had a shape or form, easy to identify, dangerous to befriend, and death to marry. The simple is the worst form of existence, as they cannot think or decide. Their actions and opinions are that of others. They are an expression of religious fanaticism or traditional heretics. The simple are meals for witchcraft. I mentioned that, and some people looked at me. Yes, witchcraft. They are food for witches. Why? Let me explain. Britannica defines witchcraft as the exercise or invocation of supernatural powers to control people or events. The operative word is to control people or events. You don't need to fly at night to be a witch. The moment you want to impose, you want to control the actions of others, that is the craft in the witch. As simpletons are people who cannot decide, who have no mind of their own. Witches are looking for people to control. So it's like a lock meets the catcher. Every family has them. Those that want to tell you who you can marry. No, you cannot marry this one. Those that want to choose the course that you will study for you. Those that they are the ones that will tell you the date you will fix that burial, or you will fix. If you do not do what they say, they are automatically offended. Every family has that. Lots of witchcraft in the families. And if you are also part of them that get offended when they don't do what you want to do because you believe what you want to do is the best way and you are he or she that must be obeyed, let us move aside work. Not that you are talking about your boss giving you an instruction. That is different. But socially, where the person, a man reached out, I mentioned it on the radio station, a man called the station. He was going to be 50 in 3 months and single because every single woman he brings, his parents, his mother rejects, his pastor rejects. 50 years, they rejected every single woman. It was later he found out that his mother wanted him to marry somebody from their village, their tribe. So she rejects, and the mother was working in tandem with the pastor. So the pastor just tells you that, no, this is not God's will. And 50, not one, not, when he called, I said, at 50, you cannot choose for yourself that this is the woman I want to marry. He said, well, if you are ready to marry, come meet me. You know, I always tell the story that when I got married, I didn't invite anybody in my family. I didn't. Why? Because I know where I come from. I know where I come from. The abuse of the simple. Please watch, especially for those who are married to the voices of other people or those who are friends. You should avoid them as friends because they are the ones to betray you. They are the ones to betray you. As you have a head who is a simpleton or a friend who is a simpleton, you are married to one already. I don't need to tell you. You already know how your marriage is. Nothing worse than being attached to a void. So let me stop there. Welcome, everybody. I'm seeing more people at the back. Barrister Lamide, welcome. So, please, your questions when you are here, I just have to rub that in because this is the month of awareness against domestic violence and abuse. Please, by show of hands, do you have any questions regarding relating to your relationship, marriage? Go ahead. Yes, sir. The mic. No, the mic is not with me. Please, let's put it in front here. Yes. Thank you. I think it's on.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I am Dr. Michael. Your you mentioned a few things that are very, very to the point. I am a man that, um, I guess if I want to be honest, I guess by your by your speech, I am one that I guess has been a simpleton. I am one that has been in three serious relationships, proposed to three, but has never been married. The voices of my parents literally has either allowed me to lose a love or brought a demon in, well, a Jezebel in the image of a beautiful girl that my mother saw to me. Where I'm going, in a situation where, like I am right now, deciding, you know what, I'm not listening to anybody anymore. Biko Apmaka, that's what I told my mom. Apmaka, anyhow I want to do it, I will do it. I have told my mom. But I love my mother to death. But when it comes to my matter, I can speak the pidgin here. She know they hear a word. So what does a man do in that situation? I wish I was not in Nigeria now. Maybe I was in the UK or anywhere in the world, developed world, because I would literally take her to Vegas and get married and have her my children, then bring her home like, Mama, that's my baby mama. She's my wife also. Okay, thank you, bye. But this is Nigeria. What do we do, please? Help me.
Thank you. If we're going to clap, let's clap. You can't clap halfway. There's always something about when you genuinely admit a defect in yourself. A man sent a message to me, which I forwarded to a friend, and says, I heard you and I can't forgive myself because I beat my wife in front of the children. That the look on his children's face, they were holding him, Daddy, please, that he can't sleep. And he's sorry that he asked for my own forgiveness, and then he has apologized to his wife, but he's inviting me to also come and help him apologize to his wife and also write an undertaking for him that if he beats his wife, she should take all the proper, like she should just take everything. He wants to sign off everything to her. Where you get to that stage of self, how do you call it? When you are conscious of who you are and you are able to say it out. I always appreciate. There's something I always walk by, and that is there is no time. And the truth is, time is not going. We are the ones going because time has been from the beginning of time. Time is going nowhere. It will continue. We are the ones going somewhere nearer to our graves. So when you realize that you cannot function in a place, you cannot prosper in a place, you cannot have what you want in a place, then you relocate. Now, when you talk about relocation, it is not to leave the country. It is to leave the relationship where you cannot prosper. Ever since I was married, I don't entertain family. It's not something I hide because someone will come on social media and now say, Barrister, thank God I'm not a pastor, so I have no religious name no sentiment to protect. There are people that will never come to my house. I will not allow them in. So also, you realize your problem is that your mother would not allow you marry who you want to marry. Then remove the mother from the equation and then marry who you want to marry. It's just simple. You remove whatever from the equation, Mommy Abi. You remove at your age, you can't choose, then when she dies, what happens? You now start living your life after her death. And those people live long. They live very long. They just don't die. They have a stroke. Oh, they are back at home. I'm a show. They have a medical emergency. They are back. Kokumo, that's their name. Aha. And then you are still there waiting for their departure to begin your own life. It's not a balance. It's not an equation at all. No. Yes, sir. Are you still living with mommy? Okay. Remove, start another equation. Start another equation. A gentleman, after the man 50 years called my program that day, another man sent me a message. He said he's 47. And he's afraid, he came. He actually came to this program to introduce himself and brought the wife because I told them how to marry. I wanted to attend them. They just went to Ikoyi registry, married. I said, don't announce yet. When she's pregnant, he sent a message that she's pregnant. I said, don't announce yet. When she has delivered, then we now did Thanksgiving. The mother came and was like, Thanksgiving of what? So we did the Thanksgiving of mother and child and wife. The mother died like 9 months after. She died like 9 months after. Not that she was a witch, but it broke her. The shock. She just stopped talking. She didn't, loss of appetite. She was so invested in making the son be as she wanted to be that the moment he broke loose, it broke her one way or the other. I don't know. So he has 3 children now. 3 children. And he's so chubby now. When he was still trying to make a decision, he was skinny because he was always thinking. God will judge you on your life. You can't say, God, my mother said on Judgment Day, you will take responsibility for whether they led you to it, you did it. It's simple. Don't say it was when God did that, nobody pulled your hands, nobody dropped it. You did it. You pay for it. It's simple. That is judgment. So, sir, remove the mother out of the equation. Your life will be a lot better. It's just simple. Thank you. So when I have a little interlude, I will use it to drop some nuggets. Abi, we have interlude now. People are still considering their questions. Abi, is there any question? So I can drop another interlude. Thank you. There is a pandemic of what I call illegitimate unions. Now, I have mentioned it. I have thought about it, talked about it, and I will mention it again here. A lot of people are not legally married, but with the man and the woman and are giving birth to children, living together as husband and wife, but not legally married. Introduction is not marriage. You say you did introduction. We do introductions every day. I meet people every day. My name is so-so-so, and so they say, nice to meet you. That is introduction. That is not marriage. And you will not believe that it covers so many. When they come, I ask, are you legally married? They say, because you keep saying my husband, can I, traditional, did you do traditional? They're not really, but he knows my family. That is not marriage. Did he pay bride price or did you go to court? It's called an illegitimate union because it is not recognized by law or religion or tradition. And that is why they are the #1 victims of domestic violence and abuse, because he paid nothing. He did nothing. like a newspaper on the road was how you were picked. Those people that stand and pick newspapers by the stand of the vendor and read it there and drop it there. They don't buy, but they're always reading it there. That is the simile to who you have become. Illegitimate union. And then you just continue. Someone came to me and said he wants to pay bride price after 4 children and 19 years. I don't even know how we allow our children into that. A lot of times we'll be rescuing people from the, one of our members is now the CDA chairman in Ojo local government, and he called me very early this morning. He said their security men were alerted that somebody was blasting music around 2 a.m. So they came there. The music was so loud. But when they were trying to knock on the door, they started hearing some faint noises under the music, like someone was crying. And they forced the door open to see him strangling someone. The music was just so that they couldn't hear. This happened in Ojo this morning. And, they came in. It was a girl, and he said it was the wife. The girl said, he never pay anything on my head. That it was in the village. Their prophet said, this is the husband. And she was 16. So that is defilement because she has a child. She is now 19. So when I calculated, I said, you before 18, knowing a woman is called defilement. It is life imprisonment. And then you've been beating this girl, and the proof of the defilement is now the child. So there is no way he can. So now he's at the police station. The problem is, why are we in these kinds of unions? The number one are those in illegitimate unions, and number two, those that got married because of pregnancy. You got pregnant. So the next thing is to quickly marry so that the church will not know. As if, listen, is it God you are trying to deceive that we can't calculate 9 months? That we can't look at this and know that you were pregnant before. But who are you even trying to? You see, pregnancy makes you a mother and makes the sperm donor a father. It doesn't make you a husband. The definition of father is a man in relation to his child. The definition of a mother is a woman in relation to the child. The definition of husband is a man in relation to his wife. So they are two different. Pregnancy does not make you a wife, and it doesn't make you a husband. So why is it that we push them? And this is the problem. A lot of women were forced and raped technically. So you just force them to marry their rapist. They went to visit boyfriend and girlfriend, and he forcefully slept with her, but he can't tell you because she can't tell you because he would ask her, what did you go and do there? So she's quiet, but knowing that it was not consensual. But then, you want to bring disgrace to our family name. It is not done in this church. You must marry. But the question is, without that pregnancy, would you have still married that man? Without that pregnancy, would you have married the woman? You know the answer is no. Because you married for pregnancy. Look at this. You lay down next to a man every morning looking at him on the bed, knowing that if not for this girl, if not for this daughter, I wouldn't have married this man. And the man is turning to the side, knowing that if not for that pregnancy, I wouldn't have married this woman. Excuse me, where will abuse not enter? Because it was marriage by pregnancy, not by consent. Unfortunately, our tradition and religion has empowered this anomaly that the moment pregnancy comes into play, it means automatically the bells of marriage. There was a case we handled, I think it was 2 months ago, where a young child was defiled. I think it was in Alimosho. We had the man arrested, and the family came and said they wanted to pay the bride price of the minor. You understand that, okay, we raped her, let us pay the bride price and convert the rape to marriage. The family accepted. Yes, now. 40,000 naira ended life imprisonment because it is defilement. How can a 52-year-old sleep with a 15-year-old? Yes, the problem. Alimosho, I think it was December or January this year. They were begging, and the family said, okay, let us marry her, because that has been the tradition and culture. Get pregnant, get married. The man didn't really want to marry, you were just a one-night stand, or we're just dating. But now you quickly, and notice those kind of marriage. The man or the woman might contribute nothing to the marriage. The family will quickly go and borrow money to do it for them. They might not contribute kobo, but to save the family name. I don't know what name. Is it a person that needs to be saved, or the name of a person? Because Jesus didn't come to die for our name. He came to die for our souls. And your family is more particular about name than souls. The highest casualty from our cases in 2023 were those who were not properly, legally or traditionally married. The second were those that got married by, you see them when they're talking. So how did you meet each other? And, we got pregnant, and then we just had to do the right thing. What is the right thing when you get pregnant? The right thing is to go for antenatal. That is the right thing. So what is the right thing that you are telling me? To do marriage or antenatal? Somebody takes care of the bills. Two people, the father and mother, take care of the child. I'm using style to be dropping this nugget so that when you get home, my phones are here. I think people are still trying to get used to this location. Someone is in Adelabu. Is Adelabu close to? This is, I'm just using, very soon everybody will get used to it and it will be easier. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm greeting back row. This is almost one, okay. So please, throw the questions. I'm just, whenever the house is quiet, I just throw my own. This is a month for awareness against domestic violence and abuse. Somebody? Okay. Madam Mercy, welcome. Okay.
Thank you very much. I still want you to puncture the first question very well.
Which one is that?
About the bride price in traditional way. In case they requested for it and it's not been paid, does it still invalidate the marriage?
No, the main thing is the request for it. If some people don't pay, you see, some people can tie you down in a situation. You can go to customary court to demand. But the main thing is that request that you are no longer doing. Now, separation is You no longer live together, and there is no sexual intercourse between both of you. So when you take, because your marriage is traditional, right? It is the bride price. When you now say you are no longer interested and you make the demand from the family and they refuse to pay you back your bride price, that demand, usually whether you make it orally, by text, or by letter, or by, physical request, as long as you have gone to the, how much is the money? The one that we are doing, it was 1 naira 65 kobo. For the women, is the more important one for me, where a woman no longer wants to be, and the husband's family are refusing to collect. Maybe those ones are saying they can't pay. Okay, let's say they are poor, they can't pay. Would that mean that you cannot move on with your life? No. You have already made the request, made your intentions known, and it's not that you are still having sexual relations. So that one has invalidated. That is, there is nothing again between you have returned her, or you have moved out, you are no longer doing, you've moved to another, you've made the request, maybe one suit, or you can, if you want to fulfill all righteousness, you can even go to a customary court. But as long as that demand has been made and you are no longer living together, no sexual intercourse, then by traditional rights, you are free. For women, a lot of families, and that is the same thing the Israelites did. When you look at Deuteronomy 24, the Bible says, when the man finds some uncleanness in the wife and is no longer interested, decides that he's no longer interested in the marriage, he should give her a bill of divorcement in her hand and send her on her way. With that, the woman is free to remarry and the man is free to remarry. It's in Deuteronomy 24. I don't want to be preaching, but let me show you. Let me read it directly. Okay, we're all used to King James Version, so let me start with that for you. When a man had taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some uncleanness in her, let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. Verse 2, and when she's departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. 3, and if the latter husband hates her, writes her a bill of divorcement and gives it in her hand and sends her out of his house, or the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, then the former husband which sent her away first may not take her again. So this is it. The moment you give a woman a bill of divorcement, you cannot marry her again. That is the limitation of the laws of Moses. But then these people came up with putting away, and that is what was asked in Matthew, that is it right for a man to put away the wife? Now, putting away is that they have not given her a bill of divorcement. So she is not free to go and remarry. But you don't want her again, you just put her away, holding her back, but you now go and remarry. That is what Malachi says God hates. But, they didn't read that. They just say God hates divorce. It was putting away. That is without the bill of divorcement. So a lot of people hold on to their wives by refusing to refund the bride price. And you'll find out that they will go and remarry, but because by custom, the woman cannot remarry without collecting the bride price, they use that to hold the woman. So I now told them this. It is very simple. You transfer to his account. It's just a simple transfer. And you put bride price, refund.
Oh, wow. That's a barrister right
So you have refunded the bride price. So all that one that they are saying there, your family will come to, if all of them are dead, they are old men. I don't need family. Did family follow me into your house? Did family give birth to all these children for you? No, I am. So you do that. Then a woman said, she can't remember the man's account. I said, no problem. So we did a DHL. to the man. You know, for DHL, you have to sign to receive. So he signed to receive, and in the envelope was bride price refund, which was in another envelope. So he signed to receive, and on opening the envelope, brought out another envelope, which was now bride price refund. He had received it because he signed for it. And then we left, she moved on. You can't hold somebody down. Just go and find the account number and transfer it back. Put bride price refund. That is your receipt. Official. You are done. You are free. So it's not an issue when you try to put but our tradition say, you know, there's no divine tradition. Tradition was made by man. You remember. So it was made by men that lived maybe 200, 300 years ago that do not know as much as you know today. If they were alive today, they will not even follow their own tradition that they laid. Because our children today know more about this world than they do. You'll be surprised what a 12-year-old will do with Google and tell you they've made apps and they have been millionaires. Well, our fathers were there with firewood. And we're saying twins are an expression of an abomination. Why? Because they had not seen it. People don't know how the killing of twins started. They thought it was one spirit in two bodies. It was looking exactly alike. So how can one person be two people? This is an abomination. They couldn't, and what they do is they kill what they don't understand. They kill what you cannot explain. That was how they killed a lot of scientists, because they came out with inventions. And that is why they killed Jesus. So they started killing twins because they had not, while they were contemplating these twins, another woman now gave birth to triplets. Chief priest said, kill them all, you know, before the gods strike this village. And that's the next thing. You kill what you don't understand. And that is the difference between the black man and the white man. The white man tries to understand why. The black man is how. So he that knows how will always have a job. But he that knows why would always be his boss. That is the difference between those that know why and those that know how. No further. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, once again. Please, if you have a question, you need to stop me on. Because this is our month for awareness against domestic violence and abuse. You are here, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, is it that the law of the last story?
No,
the last story.
Which one?
The development of the minor.
Yes.
You said the family rushed and paid the bride price.
Yes.
Is it that the paying of the bride price
No.
supersede the law?
No. So you see, somebody has to press charges. Where there's nobody to press charges, we cannot manufacture a victim. You understand? That is why if you kill the person complaining, the case is dead. You watch movies, how they go after witnesses to kill them. Once they are dead, the case is over. So the moment you accept money and then change your testimony that, no, he didn't touch me, the case is dead. Although we all know what happened. The police can be furious, me, I can be jumping up, but the case is legally dead. Yes, please go ahead.
Barrister, please, how can we describe a situation whereby a simple man marry a difficult woman?
A simple man. Did you hear what I said about simple people? Eh? You were not around. Oh, did you hear me on radio this morning? Oh, so you know what a simpleton is? When a simple man marries, it is, when you say combustion, it's like kerosene and then you strike fire here. So definitely, you know that is not a happy home, right? So we can't complete the script for them. Whatever they see, they get. Someone else had their hands up. Please go ahead. Please just raise up your hand and get the attention of the gentleman
Barrister.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. That envelope inside envelope and sending it to account number. My own case, when violence came in, so I have to move out. Why I move out is that the man, he started sleeping with my house help, and that house help is my cousin's sister.
Oh, wow.
So I took her home. He went at my back, brought the girl back to Lagos.
Louder, please.
He went at my back, brought the girl back to Lagos, hide her somewhere. She gave
Sorry, you took the girl back to the village.
back to the village.
And then your husband went to the village to collect the girl from your cousin.
My cousin, my matana, from my matana.
Okay, and they released the girl to him.
Yes. So he now kept her somewhere. She gave 3 children. I don't know. But every day, fights, every day. I'm a stupid woman. Me that is a nice woman before. I started being stupid. So when the violence continued, my children now told me, please, can we move out? So my people, they now asked me to move out. He went to my maternal place to pay bride price. My uncle said no. The girl's father is dead. My uncle said no, that it will not happen. So he now bribed 4 elders and give them money. They just and collect. They collected money and wine from him. So before he came back, we have moved out. So since then, he had been calling me. I refused to pick. So I now told him, come and collect your bride price. Oh. He said that he don't have time for that. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Till last December, I went home. I went to my uncle. I told my uncle, how are we going to do it to return this man's money? My uncle said, okay, me and one of my brother will go to their place, which we went. So when we get there, I now call, before going, I called the elders. So all of them sat. They now call him on phone. I don't know what he told them. They now change. They said that they are not going to collect that money. We return it back to their place. So they are not going to collect it. I said, okay, we now called my uncle. My uncle said, go inside his compound. People should not carry that money and come back. That is our tradition. Go to his compound, his house, drop that money. Just make sure that somebody sees 2 of you. So when we get there, my brother now call one and say, this is the money. When he comes back, he just return that money to him. That is the bride price. So I don't know whether that one is accepted. I don't know.
First of all, that experience you described is terrible. How long did you date your husband, is the ex-husband now, before you married?
Just 1 year.
Was it long distance or you were seeing each other?
We are seeing each other.
So you knew his character before?
No, he had this character.
You didn't really know his character?
No. You know, this heart is hidden. Nobody can know it except God.
Okay. Let me go straight to, you dropped the bride price, Abby. If I were there with you, I would have told you to record it on video. You understand? I would have told you to record it on video. Whoever you gave. You know, you have his account details now. Transfer now. That would have saved you from the potential violence because he could react violently to you. But you have dropped the bride price. Move on. So you did traditional marriage, Abby? You didn't go to court again. You didn't go to registry. Okay, we are good. We are good. How long ago was this? December. How long were you married?
14
14
years.
years.
Yes, sir. 14.
Please, how old is your husband
He's 48.
now?
Yes,
How old are you?
I'm 42.
Bele? Do? How many children? 2. A boy and a complete. Move on. Oh. You are pretty. Say you know that me, I married a divorcee too. You don't know. Yours is 2 children. Mine was, my wife had 3 children. Or has. So don't think that is the end of your story. And you know, it's not even all about marriage, it's about fulfilling purpose. Why you are here is not for marriage. Why you are here, there's something God put in you for us to benefit some people here. So discover why you are here and just move on. You have peace of mind now, Abi. Are they still married? How old is is it cousin or niece?
Cousin.
Cousin.
She was 13 plus. I brought her to my house.
He started with her while she
She's
was 13.
13 plus.
Thou knowest not me at that time. Thou did not know me at that time.
Even the shop I'm running, I was running a very big shop. So every day, the man will now, then when the girl gave birth, the first one, I don't know,
She gave birth at what age?
maybe 17.
Barrister Lamide.
So when he will come, he will say, please just borrow me 100,000. I want to use this for one business. I'll give you, I will just.
Oh,
give
so you were the one even taking care of by
Yeah,
proxy,
don't have
you were
money
taking
now.
care of your.
Even the mother, she came to Omugo, so there was no money in his hand. So he will come and say, please give me 100,000, I'll give. Please 50.
When you found out, what
Fight is started now.
It is well. It is well. You're a Christian, Abi? There's something I must tell Christians, and I've been born again, it's going to be 40 years now. If we were going by the measure of how many years you have been born again, probably I should be like a bishop or a pope or something. The early years of my being born again was that of religion, without knowledge. I was being told how, this is how we are to react. When I was beaten by my mates one time, because they knew I won't fight back as a Christian, they would tell me to turn the other cheek. But today I know better. So you try to slap me and tell me to turn the other cheek. Both your own cheeks would have, because when you look at Israel is not turning the other cheek. They are going to war. Israel has been the nation that has fought the most wars in history. And they are still fighting today. Because they have a right to live, which God gave every man. 87% of separations, divorces, domestic violence, and abuse are from Christian marriages. Statistics that the fact that you're a Christian makes your marriage more likely to fail than to succeed. Why? You know, we already know the how. The question is now why. The first thing is that Christians don't date. They call it courtship. That means when somebody asks you out, then you are already on your way to marriage. Dating is getting to know the character of a person first, before you now decide that, okay, with all I know, can I take this for the rest of my life? If the answer is yes, then you go ahead. But you don't get to know their character before you take that decision. You just go straight into marriage counseling. And marriage counseling is already a pot that is spiced for marriage. So no matter what he does, don't worry, it's mentorship he needs. They pray, they give you visions. So Christians don't have boundaries. You know what a boundary is? That is this. If you do this, then this is the end. Every country has a boundary. Look at every map. A boundary is represented by a thick black line. If you cross a boundary without a visa, you are, if they kill you, it is a righteous kill. It is not against the law. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it is a boundary you cannot pass unless you are invited. So Christians, what are your boundaries? Some things you don't even need to talk. When it happens, it is over. Defilement is a boundary. It is not for argument or for fight. It is over. And the problem is that their boundaries now begin to form after marriage instead of before marriage. So you get into an argument and he slaps you while dating. And then you report him here and they say, well, this is what the Christian says. I know he's hot-tempered, but we're praying about it. But we are praying about it. And that is the problem. You must have definite boundaries. That is number one, abuse. When you are with someone who is abusive, it should be a boundary. It should be a boundary. When the person is already abusing you verbally, small thing, and then they apologize, it should be a boundary. You are not yet married though. You are already been, it should be a boundary. Then the slap, the push, say it was a tap. Really? The push, the shove, the public shouting, somebody brought a lady to meet the guy, they went on a date, and while on the bridge, he parked and told her to get out of the car. Knowing that he did not bring money because he went to bring her from her house on a date, you were supposed to, they had an argument and he parked on the bridge and told her to get out of the car. He said, are you serious? He said, if you don't get out, I will drag you. And he came out of to drag her out, and she quickly came out of the car. This was at 9:30 p.m. It wasn't in the afternoon, it was at night. He told her to get out of the car, and he drove off. She walked. You know what it is on a bridge in this Lagos state at night, a woman by herself. She had not been that scared in her entire life. The guy did not even call the following morning to check if you made it home. 2 weeks later, she now called him that you did not even call to check if I got home. What kind of, and then he said, well, that that night he was angry. When they came to me, I would not even consider that I need to answer that question. You know they got married? They got married and moved to Abuja. The same way she left is the same way she came back. Yes, eventually, what were you expecting? And then she came on the stage and said, God, but I prayed. God, I fasted. God, I believe. So now God became the cause of. So you see, they say wisdom is profitable to direct. The moment you substitute wisdom for doctrine, there is a problem. It is wrong from the beginning. You cannot substitute your decisions for doctrine. It must be that of wisdom. Everything. Could you put it on silent, please? Thank you. Everything about your belief as a Christian points to wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing, Abi. And in all you're getting, get what? My people are destroyed for lack of. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of. And the knowledge of the Almighty is what? Understand. Everything is what? Wisdom. Study to show yourself approved. It didn't say study the Bible. It just says study. You must know things. You must be aware. But some people just study. Your Bible doesn't tell you how to operate a phone or how to drive a car or explain physics to you. As you are studying that, gather information. Know about things. How beautiful it is to talk to someone who is wise or who has knowledge. It is beautiful. That conversation can never be dull because you just keep getting things. So you have to, all my friends are older than me. I don't have one single that is my mate. Probably that's why I even talk like some of them. You have to go and look for what, going about my mates, and that's why I don't really have much friends. All of them, not one. My closest friend is older than me, because I just can't be on the same. I need something. I need to know. I need to understand. And it is in the course of asking why, that is why I know. Christians, you must have boundary. Forget. There must be boundary because we buried over 416 women last year. You have 365 days in a year. You buried over 416, meaning for every single day, a woman, was killed. Over 200 men last year. You think it's only the women? The men too are being killed. Why? Because wisdom never applied. Wisdom never applied. One of these days in this program, I will not talk. I will just come with voice notes and play. We will close that door. We will stop streaming. We will stop recording, and I will play some voice notes where you would hear that they had a fight, and my wife hit my head with a pestle. Who heard it? I forwarded it. And they are still married. He's now saying he's confused. Please, what is the confusion when your brain was almost smashed by something that is used to pound yam? So do you need a prophet? Do you need a pastor? Do you need a mountain? Do you need revelation?
You need a brain.
Do you know how much God invested in this brain? It's an insult that we don't use it. This brain that somebody sat down and could build an aircraft. You see all these buildings? Somebody will sit down and just use this brain. You don't know what this, have you seen, look at your smartphone, somebody's brain. The clothes you wear, somebody's brain. Do you know how much God invested? You have not seen anything. You see, we are here. You have not traveled and seen wonders of the world by somebody. Go to Dubai. They just got some people to sit down. And they turned a desert brain. Do you know how much God invested? Look at the animals in the forest. Nobody teaches them how to reproduce. How do they just know how to? They don't have town hall meetings. They don't have what? Tutorials. They don't have a constitution. Yet, they live what? They know danger. They know when it wants to rain. How do animals even, you think when they're talking about marriage, mommy, they think it is only humans that marry. Do you know animals also marry? Do you know there are several animals that have one mate for life? One mate for life. They do courtship. They have their mating rituals. The imperial penguin, it's a dance competition. The woman selects the best dancer. The wolves, the gray wolves, they have one mate for life. The eagles, they have one mate for life. The coyotes, they have one mate for life. The foxes, they have one mate for life. The lovebirds, they have one mate for life. Lots of animals with one mate for life. There's no domestic violence. But humans, they are confused about the mate. What animals are certain of without education? Next question, please. Don't let me talk. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Barrister.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Well, first, I'll just like to thank and commend you for all the wealth of knowledge you give us. And in the past few months, I've had cause to spend some weekends with my folks because they are getting older and due to ill health. My dad is an early riser, so I was surprised one Saturday morning when he put on the radio and he was listening to Relationship 360 and he's 80 plus.
Wow.
And I was, Daddy, you listen to Barrister Omoshebi? He said, yes, so he enjoys your talk and everything. Personally, I've learned so much and I want to thank you.
Thank God.
I actually have my immediate senior sister. I don't know if you can recall, I attended the first Purple Curtain at Jibo, and I brought up her case.
Yes.
And she doesn't live in the country, and you advised that we do a welfare check on her. But since then, we've not been able to do that because she lives far away from other relations and things like that. But I must say, in the past 6 months, it's gotten slightly better because at a point in time, we could not get across to her. And anytime she has cause to call, we notice that she's not in the house. It's either she's coming from work, she's on the bus, or she's on the train. She can't pick up calls in her house. But it's gotten slightly better. But my question is, how do you help somebody that has not admitted that she needs help or has not come out to say that she's in a troubled marriage? Because, you know, there's so much we can we can deduce from her silence. A sister that we know so very well, that she's not the type of person that will not get across to her parents or her siblings. But ever since she's got married, 13, 14 years ago, the pattern just changed when she got married. You know, and it's been so worrying. There are times I've had sleepless nights that I can't sleep because I just begin to imagine what she's going through. But the problem is she has not admitted that she needs help. So how do you help somebody that has not even realized that she needs help?
Excuse me, Barrister.
Yes.
She said that when she attended the very first event, she had narrated what happened between her sister and her husband. But we don't know it, and we need to learn from what you guys both know. Can she just drop a hint?
Yes. She got married about 13, 14 years ago. And ever since she got married, we realized that there were certain drastic changes that we realized. Number one, we couldn't get across to her. Number two, the husband isolated her because she moved from where she was staying to like 2 hours away from London. So that made it difficult for cousins, relations, friends to see her. The church where she was worshiping while she was in London, she left that church, a church that we knew she grew in that church. You know, people could not just get across to her. There are times when we have, like I said, when we have cause to speak to her, she's not in the house. She can't pick calls in her house. Somebody that we know she would not get across to her parents. My parents are 80 plus. She hardly calls. That was then. Now it's gotten slightly better. She doesn't call them. She doesn't ask for after their welfare. So we knew definitely that is that marriage. Something has definitely gone wrong. It wasn't as if we were making demands. We just wanted to know, are you okay? Are you fine? So we knew that even her husband we don't even hear, he doesn't even bother. He doesn't bother. She tries once in a while, to get across. So we knew that she was in a problematic marriage. So how do we help her?
Is that okay, ma? Okay. So a lot of people have not seen abuse, so they don't know what abuse is. The woman I brought to the studio today had never seen her father. She did not even know what abuse was. So while being abused, she didn't recognize it as abuse. She just thought it was a mood swing. A lot of problems, when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? In this case, the woman has got to ask for help. She needs to get to a point where she realizes, because you cannot help someone who is not asking for help. We got to a house, we were sent a video of a woman bleeding from the side of the head, and it was just rushing. So I said, this person can't survive, because the blood was just all over the place. How much pints of blood are in the body? So we went, it was in Ikorodu. We went, and she was okay, stitched here, stitched there. We paid for the treatment. I have the video. I may share the video. I have the video in my phone. The neighbor recorded it. And this woman, after we said she should separate, she separated. And I was like, this man has got to, this is too much. You will not survive her. She said, and she knows what. Then she just called me one night and said, Shemo, let me just give him one more chance. Let me just give one more. Is it possible to show videos here? Sorry. Tech. Is it possible to give you a video? Okay. Let me. At times. Huh? Okay. Let me see if it is still. Just give me a moment. Un momento, por favor. Sorry. Is it from me? This feedback. Is the feedback from me? So, please just hold on. Let me be sure. To share if it is possible. You said I should forward it to you, ma. No, to Madam Modupe. No, she said I should. I'm forwarding it to. You've seen it, okay? It's still remaining one video. Have you seen it? Okay. Yes, sir. It's the video I'm looking for. It's pictures I'm seeing, but okay, the picture will show you. When you change phones, they can. Okay. Can you share that? Okay. Please, when you are ready, just let me know. I think you'll see it on the screen. The video is there on my Facebook, but the pictures are on my phone. But that's just was one of those terrible things that happened in the corridor. So she went back, and so we just didn't hear from her. It was, I think, in September, October, that I was called by that neighbor and said, "Long time, thank you for what you did, that it is well." I said, "So how is she now?" He said, "How is she? Bitibao." And I said, "Madam, now?" He said, "She's dead now." Said it hit her, she had internal bleeding in the head. So I want to show you her face, her picture. I think her name is Fumi. Oh, hold on. It is not here. Professor Lamide, can you share it? I don't have it. Send it again. Is there on your phone, Abby? I'm not seeing it here. Oh, not. Or maybe you. Okay. Probably you could give him the phone. She will play that. In fact, very good. There's someone I want to, the two people I want to introduce to you, I invited specially to pass a message across to everybody. Mr. Cyril, how are you, sir? Thank you for coming to me. Please, I want you to put your hands together for him. So you know how, but you also know why. Barrister Olamide, please could you just... That woman is one of, when you're talking about family law, when you are, that's the person I called to my rescue to handle. She's like me, she's fire. She knows what she's doing. It's important to know what you are doing. It's up. So this is the woman after the beating. Okay, change. Please keep going. Now maybe this now. Okay, you just let me know. And all the technical things, I avoid all this technical, but we will watch that. There's also another, can I share? Can I share? I have your permission to share. Let me show you guys something. So please, can we put our phones on silent, you know? If you're in an interview, your phones will not ring. If you are talking with your boss, your phones will not ring. Okay, please just send me a signal. It's there. Not. It's almost 2. I just sent you another one. Okay, 1 minute. It's not a problem as long as work is going on. Please, don't say it. She's saying it is too gory. Please. Oh, yeah. No, can you see this? Can you see her body, her back? Okay, proceed. Can you see her side? Everybody's quiet. Answer me now. Can you see? Okay. That is her side. Proceed, sir. This was her in the hospital. Couldn't bend. In fact, I think I showed the receipt of payment for this. We paid for all her treatment. The husband didn't come to the hospital at all. Didn't even come to check. Oh yeah. Okay, this is me. This is what we paid. I had to, so that when we are talking, the price won't show, but we paid. So the video. We'll get it. Don't worry. So, please go on with the questions, Owa. Huh? No, I sent no, she sent the video now. It's not? The video is there. Please help me. Thank God I have people, so that when one phone fails, you have backup. That's why I tell people, when you are in abuse and you are beaten, take the picture and quickly send it to maybe your sister or your friend, because that man will take your phone and smash it. There's no evidence again. So this is the month of awareness against domestic violence and abuse. So I'm going to spook you. I'm going to do everything to make you not go back the same. You will see it live in living color, how it looks like. We're still coming to Mr. Cyril's. We move on. Please, was there a question for me to answer there? No, there was no question. Madam, please go ahead while we're working on it.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Barrister. Good afternoon, everyone. At first, when I walked into this place, I didn't want to ask any questions because I saw elders and I said, okay, I was going to learn from their questions. But I haven't seen this video. I really want to ask this. For some of us who are youths, I remember last week.
Can you see this picture, please? No, I will open if anybody closes their emos sokale. If you, sir, please, sorry, hi, sir, please, can you lift your hand? Look at it. Can everybody see this? Do you know who this is? That is this gentleman here. This is what his wife did to him. She used a razor blade. No, please put the picture. So he went through surgery. Show the other picture, please. That is him after. Now, please go back to there. I want to show you his heart. Maybe now. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, my hand. So you can see that it is in between, right there, right across the chest. Okay, let me not. So can you just share your story in like 10 minutes?
Pastor, thank you very much. Mama, thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cyril. I've been actually following Barrister for 4 years now. So whenever he called me, I would just arrive. He has been very close and a mentor to me. I've learned so many things from him, and I'm still learning. So what actually happened, I married a woman I loved. I married as a Christian, a born-again Christian, who did the right thing. And I don't know if it was fortunate or unfortunate, but I married a single woman. a single mother. Yeah, thank you. She had a son, about 10 years old, because I came from a family that were refined from my grandfather as a principal to my dad, my siblings. So we're all taught well, love one another. Everybody's your child. So I married her. There was no problem. I loved the child. But the child became the bane of the problem after all. And the child became like a sacred cow. I can't talk to him anyhow. I can't scold him when he does wrong. I can't correct him. I have to beg him to correct him. I should beg my child to correct him for what? After paying school fees, feeding all this. But at the end of the day, it was as if I married the boy. It wasn't the woman I married. So if the boy is not happy, my wife is not happy. No sex, no fun, no happiness in the house. Oh, yes, conditional love. So, and it was as if she doesn't even understand the concept of marriage. She don't understand at all. Very selfish. So I was hoping that the marriage would work out. I did everything I can to make it work. I did everything I can. I could just imagine myself separating, divorce. So she took advantage of that. I wanted a marriage. In the long run, at the time when I felt I can't take this no more, because she did so many things I cannot mention here. At the time, the guy the boy himself started, after 4 or 5 years in the marriage, the boy was now, lifting up his soldiers towards me, raising his hands, challenging me, because the mother was always there for him. So the mother told him that nothing will happen at this house now. Nothing will happen, no fear. So nothing they pack. So I said, this is getting too much. I won't take this anymore. So there was one day I went to church on Wednesday service. For this very incident, so after so many things, this very incident, I went to church one Wednesday evening. I came back, I saw my son, the one she gave birth to, a little boy, about 4 years then. And he was, watching the drama that I don't like, those kind of movies. Was left alone in the sitting room. And I warned the other brother that don't allow this little boy to be alone in the parlor watching all this kind of romantic movie. You have telly in your rooms, just put his children movie for him, cartoons. So whenever we return, you people can join us. So I came there, I saw the boy, I was displeased, so I went to the room. I said, Martin, why did you allow this boy? What did I tell you? He said, please don't disturb me, let him, I don't have time for all these things. I was really angry. I gave him a dirty slap. So the mother came and started shouting, you don't start again, no. It didn't happen here in Lagos, it was in Benin. It was in Benin because I actually schooled in Benin, but I was born in Lagos. So it was here I stayed a while, I got a job, I married. So the woman came challenging. So I said, no, this boy, take him to his father. Because I knew the father was dead. He doesn't even know he's dead. So I was angry. Since I cannot, father him, take him to his father. So she knew I was angry. He told the boy to leave the house. It was around 9:30 at night. So I was now listening to the news. Around 10, I saw the boy entering the house. I said, no, I told you to leave this house. So the boy was scared. As he was turning backward, the mother said, go inside the house, nothing will happen. And I remember before he brought that boy inside the house, he has called our pastor. That this is what happened, this is what happened. The pastor knew her, and knew the problem I was going through. He told her, let the boy be outside. But she got angry, said, no, be this house. She went to put on, jeans. And she was pregnant, about 8 months pregnant. I was surprised. So when the boy now entered their rooms, so I called the boy, I held him at the waist here. I was dragging him out. The mother was pushing me backward, making sure I don't push the boy. I said, what was wrong with you? What kind of insult is all this one? You are fighting me with this boy, and the boy too both of them too were challenging me. But I made up my mind. I said, you are already pregnant, so I won't touch you. I used all my might. I dragged the guy out. When I got to the sitting room, I pulled him through the kitchen because I don't want to open the parlor door because it's already late. I now saw blood on my hands. So I thought it was the guy that injured. I was wondering, how did I injure this boy? So I just left him. When I left him, he ran away. So I now knew that it was me. As I said, it was a result place. So I didn't know when it happened. So when I discovered I was injured, both my hands and my chest, she ran away. She started now picking the boy's uniform. As the boy was in JS3, SS1, then picked his school bag. I said, oh, it's not that you want the boy to go. But when I say he should leave, you don't want him. Now you want him to go. I already told the boy where to go, and wait for her. So I held her until neighbors came, and neighbors helped me. They helped me I should just release her. And I called 2 of my friends that night around 11. They rushed me to the hospital, very close to Ben Sidaosa, Church of God Mission headquarters, because I live very close to that place. Sidaosa Bishop Sidaosa Church. So till 2 a.m. when I was teaching, and I revived, and I just thank God for everything. That is a short story. Okay, because the doctor that treated me, when he heard the story, the doctor was so mad. He had to call the DPO. So after the treatment, I went to the police station, GRA police station at Benin, and she was nowhere to be found. Anyway, I gave them their numbers, and they called her. She doesn't appear within 24 hours. They will get her. So she came. They got her arrested and the son. And I think they detained them. The church we were worshiping then. They now came and, they scolded her. They said, but pastor told you that you should not do this thing. She didn't say she was a mistake. If she knew that this is what will happen, she wouldn't have tried it after pastor have spoken to her. So the church intervened, and they begged me that, because she was pregnant, 2 days later was supposed to be for the court case, and she will be jailed with the son for attempted murder. So the case of attempted murder. So it was a very serious case. My family in Lagos, they were saying, no, the marriage should end. They don't want that again. I should come back to Lagos. Fortunately, I was doing my master's in Uniben, so I couldn't leave immediately. But I drove them from the house. The church intervened. They said I should withdraw the case from the police, because even the whole police station was, sympathizing for her. Because our life would end.
Your life almost ended.
Yes, and my life almost ended because they just told her because of the pregnancy. Our son will go to jail. She will go to jail. She will lose the baby, and she will also lose the marriage. That's why they sympathize for her. But they were saying, thank God you are alive.
So there was a matter where you were given an ultimatum to marry, to take her back, right?
It wasn't really an ultimatum, but when I left her back, after my master's, I came back to Lagos. So the family told her to join me in Lagos. The church told her to join me in Lagos. So I didn't agree. And after a while, some of my family members persuaded me that just let it work. So I said no. She too don't even want the marriage, because she was scared that if she comes to Lagos, something, yes. So that is how the thing ended.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together probably you should have been with the angels now singing in heaven. So when I met him, he was thinking, because there was serious pressure on him to go back into the marriage. And you said your mentor at that time, was he your... No, there was a mentor. There was somebody in Benin that you were really very... Abi, am I mixing it up? That is the...
Maybe it's the pastor there.
He scolded you to go back into the marriage.
He just pleaded with me.
To go back into the marriage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, I think people have to die twice before they, who are those people that died twice, fella? They had announced his death, then we saw him that he was still alive. They announced his death 3 times while he was still alive. So maybe like you now, after you came back, you go back to the marriage, then they announce your death, and it should not be a religious issue. It should be a matter of life. Whoever could hold a blade, so that is one. So please, the other video is here. Let's just move on. There's anybody with the video can come on. Okay. Is it coming on or not coming on? Not coming on. Okay. So that is how at times you see the face of violence. You were talking, ma.
Yes,
Emma Binu.
Thank you. So, sir, my friends and I had this conversation recently where we talked about sex before marriage. So one of my friends said something particular that I've never heard. He said before he got married to his wife, he actually held on to this sex thing. In fact, for him, he wanted to check if she was sexually competent. And so it was a group of friends who were Christians, actually. Now, he said that when he confirmed that gave him the conviction to marry her. So while that was on, I was so worried in my spirit. I was like, but that's not how it's taught. We're taught that we should keep the bed undefiled. So why would this particular Christian be sounding like a non-Christian? So I told him, I said, for me, what if at that time when you probably tested what you wanted and it didn't work out, what would you have done? He said he would have continued to search. Now my question is, please, barrister, what do you, because I know you're a Christian, what do you have to say about this? Having told us that we should have boundaries, this was one of the things he wanted. Me, as a Christian, I don't want such. What do you advise youths? Because basically, some of us go into marriage, maybe because of that. Some of us even get stuck when we have started having sex. And because of that, we decide to get married to these persons. What do you advise us to do as youths? Do you think the idea of having sex before marriage, because it's our time, is ideal, or because it's part of what we want to see, part of what we want to be convinced about before getting married? Or hold on to the principles that we've always learned. Our fathers, we worked for them. There was nothing like that. They got married and their marriages were successful. What do you advise us to do? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is not a moral question. It is a religious question. You understand? Morality is knowing the difference between right and wrong. This is not a moral question. It is a religious, because some religions actually permit. So, if the question were to be, would sex before marriage affect the outcome of marriage? Probably I wouldn't answer, but give you statistics. But if you are asking me if sex before marriage is right because of my religion, and that verse that you quote, I always tell people to use at least 5 different interpretations of the Bible. The Old Testament was written in Aramaic and Hebrew. The New Testament was written in Greek. So where there is confusion, and I've read all through, I can't get it, and I'll go back to the Greek man because it was interpretation. Somebody interpreted it. And I'll go back to the Greek to read what they meant in Greek. There I always understand better. Now, when you say Hebrews, it's Hebrews 13:4, where marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled, but you should have read it properly. In the New International Version, it is marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. What he was talking about was adultery, which means you are bringing another woman or another man to your marriage bed. It was talking about after marriage, not before marriage. If you go to the Amplified Version, it tells you, let marriage be held in honor, esteemed worthy, precious, of great price, and especially dear in all things. And thus, let the marriage bed be undefiled. Marriage, that means there is already a marriage. It is not talking about before marriage. It is talking about the marriage bed itself, that God will punish the adulterer. So you can only commit adultery when you are married. So it was referring to after marriage and not before marriage. Now, I'm in a room with Muslims, I'm in a room with pagans, I'm in a room with atheists, and I'm in a room with Christians. If I would tell you that 87% of failed marriages are from Christian marriages, then I would tell you that marriage is not about religion. That was one of the first bitter truths, because it is not only Christians that get married. Marriage is a universal institution. Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody had a problem 2 years ago. They came to my office. The pastor kept telling them that they will not have a happy married life because 2 months to their wedding, they got a little romantic and slept with each other, and the pastor said the marriage will not work because they felt bad and told the pastor the truth. And the pastor said this marriage cannot work. So whenever they got married, because all the things were already in place, they got married. So whenever they have an issue, they just go back to, pastor has already said this marriage will not work because they did not even want to give it any thought, but it kept resounding that because they had sex before marriage. Now, I know of Shino Rambo, who killed over 50 people in 3 months and got married. And I'm wondering which is worse, someone that takes a life or a couple that had sex before marriage. And I'm looking at it that is not the conception of marriage when you are thinking about sex. And so much emphasis is going on the sex. And I want to switch to adultery. What about people that are sleeping with people after marriage? Let me break it down. A statistic for the 4th year in a row on all hotels in Lagos State showed that more married people rent hotel rooms than single. So it shows you that adultery is more than fornication. It is a fact. Those that are now married but in adultery, would that tell you that their marriages are failing? I will teach you morality, wait, but I won't tell you that your marriage will not work because you had sex. I will teach you the moral thing. If you can hold on to your passion, as long as you are sure. But then I have a problem. And until I am able to solve that problem, I don't think I can speak on this issue. First of all, 2 months ago, a guy came to us. He brought it on the station. After marriage, they did the Christian thing. And after marriage, found out that his wife had both male and female sexual organs. Yes. It was live on my radio program. It was live, Yes. 1. 2, a lot of people have reproductive organ diseases, not fully developed testicles and what would I call, what is it called again? It makes sexual relations very unpleasurable, especially very painful for the woman. So the woman is not ready to have sex. It became a problem when they had sex 3 times in 1 year, because it is always painful for the woman, a condition that he did not know before marriage. So a lady that we helped, they did the same restraint, and during their wedding night, they had, it was a Christian thing, no sex before marriage, but the day of their honeymoon, she found out that whenever they had sex, the man, whenever he wanted to ejaculate, will convulse and collapse. So he would always start foaming in the mouth while sex is going on, and then he will convulse. But because she was in the medical line, she will quickly resuscitate him. So she stopped having sex because she didn't know that sex could kill her husband. So I'm now meeting very technical questions that people are not sexually compatible. But how would you know? Does that mean in the other way that you should now start having sex? I don't know. So I will not come to you as somebody that knows everything. I would share also my confusion with you. So what do we do? People that hide, you have people that come and the man has very small genitals. You find out after marriage. But if you had known it was like that, you wouldn't have married him. Do you understand? You wouldn't have married him if you had known. But after marriage now, you are starved sexually because your man's genitals are too small. Then with women, you now have, so what is the matter? If you know Jimmy Disu on radio, can you just wave your hands? So Uncle Jimmy Disu now shouted after he saw all these things. He said, come, my daughter must know what the problem of this man is, because I'm old, I have BP. I don't want anybody to kill me when I'm supposed to be. There are so many things now that we don't even understand. But people don't even disclose to you their medical conditions until you insist. So last year I told them that you will go to a place, so both of you will strip, whether under supervision or not, whether a hospital. You have to see that you are okay physically. It was very early when I started. A man got married to this woman, and when they now decided to do the thing, he now saw that he had stretch marks all over. And that was a major problem for him. He couldn't perform because he was irritated by the stretch marks. So it became a problem. So they told him to switch off the light so that he won't see, he would just feel. And he said, I paid bride price. Why would I be switching off the light for a woman that I paid the bride price? So for 9 months, he could not consummate the marriage. So when they came to me, jokingly, I just said, how didn't you know? He said, how will I know when they said we should not? So I said, okay, maybe you people, and I said, maybe now everybody will strip. So you would look at it. You would look at, and then you wear your clothes, so you'll be under supervision. But what is all that? I don't know. So when you ask me that question, I don't know. I will know. I'm still working on it. Whether it is to balance humanity or to balance religion, I don't know. But the consequences far outweigh. The consequences far outweigh. The consequences are more than the disadvantage. Have I answered your question? A gentleman last year, the wife had 3 nipples. So there was one here, one, and then there was one on the other side. You can see the video now. Oh yeah, please, let's see. So there are some certain things that people don't tell you. They won't tell you. So this was the lady in Ikorodu. This was shot by the video. So, please, can you play that again? Maybe they didn't see you well. It's done, guys. Thank you very much. It's Don Jazzy again.
Barrister, who was recording?
The neighbor, the brother Michael. Brother Michael was the one recording. They were tired of intervening. So, ladies and gentlemen, that woman is dead. She died last year. The man is with another woman. What are you talking? Life goes on. You think life will stop because you died?
He wasn't arrested? Not in jail?
He's not in jail. He's there. I didn't even know until like 2 months after. So, for those that tell your daughters to go back, and those of you clergy that tell them when they tell you, they say go back and pray to make it work. Be submissive. I think the first theme was, I remember your theme. You said submission. Was it by willing or something? One of the themes you gave, it was submission. Let me see, I remember.
Again?
The first time you invited me, ma, you said I should speak about submission. Is it willing or...
By force or something?
Yes, it was submission. It was submission. I wrote it down in here.
Yes.
It was something about submission. Is it... you said Lai Jali. But that is a wife.
Pardon?
That is a wife. God, I don't know.
She's checking it. But in the time being, how come the guy got away with it?
Yeah, because nobody pressed. Nobody pressed. You know, some people, before you get there, they have buried, but they say, well, they just quickly bury. The family just quickly bury. No evidence, no case, that no matter what case you drag, will not bring her back to life. So the man marries another woman. So there's Mrs. Fumi Hosanna that died, I think it was last year, the morning of this same March. We raised money to get her. She's a teacher. She was a teacher. She had free will on demand. Yes, submission, free will or demand. Thank you very much, ma. That was the first. The morning that it was Saturday morning, just before the show, she had reached out to me. People had sent in money to help her leave the marriage. That morning, it was as if the husband knew money entered her account. So he woke up and wanted to take her phone, and she resisted because normally he would transfer money from account to himself. You know, some men, you see some women working and their salary account is their husband's account. Yes, business, lots of business that you go to, when you want to pay to them, the account they give you is their husband's. So that morning, Chad, she refused because we had ourselves and some other people had sent money to her to get a place. And it was just the agency and accommodation that was left. And, you know, we sent something that Friday night. It was Saturday morning, 4 a.m. The man had gotten up and tried to take her phone. It led to an altercation. And he used a barbed wire, pulled on her neck and tied her, but the thing had pierced her neck. She died there just before our program on Saturday morning. Miss Fumi Hosanna. So the man tried to run, but the neighbors, it was even the women that now accosted him. They wanted to burn the house. So the police came because he had put her body in a Toyota Sienna. I have the picture on my Facebook. Put the body in the Toyota Sienna, and people heard the screams until they didn't hear the voice anymore. So they knew. So by the time we arrested and all that, we found out that that was his third wife. The first wife died. The second wife ran away. This is the third wife died. So because you keep quiet and you keep sending people back, you embolden the abusers to continue. Mrs. Fumi Hosanna, never forget. It was very painful because just the next week she was going to leave, as in money was complete. Just to leave Saturday morning. And that was the third wife. And he's an elder in church. He's an elder. When someone's name is Mr. Hosanna. So please, questions. You don't... Yes, sir.
I want to ask, okay, why do people, after being in a relationship for long and in courtship, at the end of the day, they see red flags? When they see red flag, they avoid or they overlook. And then at the end of the day, that red flag becomes available where they will live with it forever. Why do people do it? And again, another question is that when a woman gets married and she divorces, if she doesn't pay the bride price, does it affect her maybe getting the next marriage?
If she doesn't pay, if the man demands or she left the marriage, the bride price is not shall refunded.
Yeah, maybe she just overlooked.
Okay, continue. Okay. Do you know how many men are legally married? That is, they did the marriage by registry, but the same registry, they married 2 other women. There are plenty. Yes, right here. Because there's no database. If you enter the same name, there's no database. There's no database. So, in Nigeria, you get away with everything. Your traditional marriage, is it bride price? You will say how much? 15,000 or, the one we did today was 1 naira 65 kobo. We don't even have the denominations again. How do you can't get that. So I would tell you to always fulfill all righteousness. If you married under traditional law, and you are no longer interested, refund the bride price or give, if you demand for the bride price or the woman, refund the bride price. But if it was abuse, a woman that you had beaten, battered, and bruised and left, I wouldn't tell her to refund the bride price. Did you buy somebody? Did you Britain? Because I have a precedent now where the case in Kano, where the woman told the judge, the magistrate, that if he can return my body to how it was before the 4 children and 19 years of abuse, I will refund his bride price. Was this how he married me? And the magistrate upheld that Oga, if you cannot restore her body back to how it was, then, and she won the case. So I have a precedent now. Are you clear? Yes, ma'am. The red flag, okay. The red flag, the problem is knowledge. People believe people can change. People think, you see, it walks like a dog, it looks like a dog, it can become a dog. People believe people change. They cheat out. They'll say, he just needs a little time. I know my wife married her first husband because she thought she could change him. He was very aggressive, but when she comes and she calls his name, if he's fighting, he will stop. So she thought, oh, I can. And someone told her, I said, you are sitting on the back of a tiger in the jungle where there is no food. He would turn on you to eat. And she got it well. In fact, almost 27 years, we are still treating injuries that she sustained 27 years ago today. Still doing MRI scans of her back because of the pain of slamming her against the flower pot, It is well. Let's move. You see, don't think you can change anybody. You are not the unchanging changer. Do you understand? God can change Lucifer, but he is not changing. He has given free will to man, and he said, my spirit will no longer contend or strive with man. It is given to him how many years? 70, isn't it? He will no longer interfere. You know, God interfered a lot at that time. When Nimrod wanted to build his tower to the sky, God came down, interfered, scattered the language. But now God just said, you know, these guys, do to everybody, do what you want. God can make everybody born again in the world. Do you know that? But he is not. So who do you think you are? The only person that can change is a person who wants to change. It's not you. And your job is not to try to change people. I almost died during that. I keep telling you, I almost died 3 years ago. I slumped in my office. There was nobody. I was trying to, I don't even know what happened. I thought it was a stroke, but the doctor said that my brain just stopped sending signals to my body. And while I was like, how can that happen? He said, thank God you were not driving. And that's how some people just drive into, they say, you don't know that. It was extreme stress. I will go and meet you. I will plead with you. You have to leave this. We'll carry somebody from Lagos to Abeokuta, beg them, rent a place for, she will be there. We'll go back to visit her. We'll meet the man in the house. During a divorce case that we were handling, the woman was pregnant for the man that she was divorcing. So after some time, after that experience, my wife just said, you know what? I've allowed you to do things your way, but you will not turn me to a widow. How many husbands? I married the first one. By the way, that one too, he died after the divorce of multiple organ failure. He was heavy in smoking and drinking. Then me too. When they will now say, why are your husbands always dying? Said you will not try that with him. So that day, enough was even me. I really want to live long. Do you understand? After working, I will not reap anything. No. Then I just stopped. If you don't hear, I don't argue with you again. You just move on. You will come back. It's not my business. I just tell you, I share my knowledge. If that is enough, not enough, you'll be gone. You want to change people? From where? How do you begin? Have you changed a rat before so that you have a control experiment that I changed the rat? The rat stopped being an omnivore, is now a vegetarian. That you changed something. You changed an animal. You don't have a control experiment that you have changed something. At least scientists will first use guinea pigs. So where is your control experiment? Even God is not changing Lucifer. God drove Lucifer down, because you cannot share this place. But you went to marry what God drove out. So you can do what God cannot do. You are now what? The Most High. Yeah, you are the Most High now. Because you can do what God cannot do. Let's move on. You can't change nobody. You are even having a struggle changing yourself. Please go ahead.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, everybody. The question I have to ask is, my sister that lives at Uyo, she is my junior. So after the death of my father and mother, she's just like the one I care for from the starting of like 5 years. So she then gets married to a man at Uyo, and this man was well-to-do. He has properties at Uyo, and he's also into business of building house, even to the governor. So all of the sudden, last 2018, I traveled home. She then told me that the husband has changed. I saw one small boy, like age of 3 years, in her house. She told me that one day, as she came from her shop, the husband brought this boy to the house. That when she asked him, how come this one? He said, what is your problem? Are you the owner of this house? Is there anything that's bothering you? I have given you money every time. Now I have the right to do whatsoever. So, as she said so, I said, okay, I'm a stranger. I cannot challenge the man as he says so to you.
So after 2 days, I have to call the man. I asked, what's happened now? You were not like this. And she told me that, your daughter also changed. She always go out to meeting of big women that senior her. She will join this APC club. I have to call the lady, say, is it so? She told me that after he has stopped her, he did not do so again. I said, okay. She then told me that even this man don't like to enter bed with her. That even sometimes when she cook, she will come back late, 11 to 1, and he will abandon the food. At time we say. So now, what happened now is that the man last year, September, he built house for one rich man based in America. So unfortunately, that house collapsed and killed the workers, 2 of the workers. So the woman now told me that after that, she called me last month, that, Auntie, I don't even see food eat, so even my children, that this man had to sell almost the property he had at Uyo. Even the one that they are living, the 2-story building, is planning to sell. He's now taking the lady from court to court that he has rights of his property, even to the church. I said, what did court say? Say the first court say the man has right for his property. That the second one asked him, when you sold this last one, where do you want this lady to go with these 5 children? Say the man say it's his own property, has the right. Even the hotel he built, because that year he told me that land they wanted to buy it 20 million, but he want to build a hotel, and he completed the hotel, and he sold that place. That is the 14 properties that the man sold. Okay. The remaining this. So now I'm asking, sir, how will this lady do now? Because this man too is threatening to kill her. Say he sent somebody to come and kill her. When those people came, he said, we cannot assassinate this woman. Say the woman, they told her that it's your husband that sent them to her.
What does your sister do for a living?
Since the man stopped her, the shop that he gave her, he said he didn't do anything again.
That is your sister's problem. That is your sister's problem. Women, you cannot have a means of income. It should be an abomination. Look at Proverbs 13. It talks about the virtuous woman. Did you not notice that she sells her wares to merchants? She considers a field and buys it and plants a vineyard. She has work. There is no virtue in joblessness. You are a helpmeet, but you don't have help to meet with if anything happens to the man. You are now left bound to the Philistines. Anything that happens to that man today, what if he dies? What will happen? What will happen if he dies? So, maybe it's the barrister Olamide that will be helping people do property. I will tell you to go and work. Any man that tells you to choose between your marriage and your job, you choose your job. You cannot, because you choose your job. Because that is how they disenfranchise women. Look at widows. No means of income because one man. Stop. Look at the woman I brought to the show today. She's a BSc holder, NCE, married a man that has SSE, did not even finish SSE, and he told her to stop work. And she stopped work. At the command of the Lord Commander. And now the marriage has crashed. So I always tell you to marry within your social class. If you are a graduate, marry a graduate. If you are someone that has work, marry someone that has work. There is no room for joblessness. If anything happens to the man, what happens? Then you will become a prostitute. Let me explain to you, because you will start begging for what? Support. Then you come and meet me, and I'll say, okay, I'll give 50,000. Okay, come and meet me in the room 202. Yes, now. I will give you, the money is there on the bed. You know what to do. You will vex. Say, no, what would you think I am? You vex, you leave. Then you get home and your children have not eaten. And then you are now looking at them. You see, you cannot watch them go hungry for long. You would start telling yourself, okay, after all, 10 minutes, it is over. So you just close your eyes, 10 minutes. And that is how all our women are now becoming what? So maybe that prostitute is a strong word. But they trade with the demand of their currency because they have nothing to offer but their bodies. They have no skill, no talent, no job. How can you? It's against the law. It's section 12, subsection 1 of the Violence Against Persons Prohibitions Act. To tell someone to stop working is an offense. 2 years in prison. It's called economic or financial abuse. You can't stop that. Even the government is expecting to get tax from the person. You just made the person useless to the government, to her people, to her family, her father and mother. Nobody can benefit anything. And I trained the girl to school. You know, with these parents that even allow that, I will smack I will smack some sense into the child. I will pack the child. You see, I will come with an orchestra. We will sing as we are packing her bags out of the house. It will be, they won't understand whether she just got the chieftaincy title. Musicians will play. It's not a thing of shame. Knowing when to walk out is honorable. Knowing when to stop. The folly of the foolish is not knowing where to stop. Stop work. Do this, do that. From where to where? A woman got promoted. I think I say this a lot. And I was given an official car. She rushed home to tell her husband that, you got promoted and given an official car. What did the husband say? Why is it always you they are promoting in that office? They promoted you 4 years ago. They are promoting you. Don't bring any official car to this house. It wasn't up to 2 years, two months. He said she should leave the job. She's earning over 500,000. The husband is earning 170,000. You that are earning, would that 170,000 pay the rent? And there are some women that are more brilliant. Look at Igbo women, in fact. Check every WAEC. Igbo girls always top. Look at it, especially those Igbo women that now leave education and somebody tells them to stop work and start going to the market. Look at them. They always top when it comes to general examinations. SSC, JAMB, check it. Have you forgotten that there are even female presidents? What's wrong with these people here? Do you know there are female presidents in the world? In the time of COVID, the countries that were run by female presidents were the ones with the least infestation of COVID. New Zealand, there. Look at, because they already anticipated what will happen. They were the first to shut their borders. They were the first to make medical help available. Australia, Germany, Angela Merkel was there. Look at, we have the first black vice president in the United States. And you are telling your daughters to come and be submissive to what? And then you get a fool. And then you say submit to a fool. And then you are even, the religion is telling them to be submissive. Don't you even check who you are submissive to? You know how to drive better than the person driving you. And they say, don't talk. And you can see that this way, you are driving us into the canal. Babakini, at a break. Who are you to tell me to press the brake? And then you die, they say you submitted. You did not submit. You were a fool. Let me tell you, Jesus was submissive to death. You know why? Because he knew that God will raise him on the third day.
Yes, sir.
He knew that he was coming back. So I can afford to die. But when you say you die, Jesus, as in Shekina, you are not coming back anywhere. There might be another discussion. You know, even at then, Jesus struggled. You know, they said he prayed and it was like drops of blood. And he said, Father, if this cup can pass, but anyway, not my will. He still struggled with it, even after knowing he was coming back. Do you think it is easy to submit to pain? Women are foolish. Sorry. It takes a whole lot of foolishness to see the outcome of what you are about to submit to and still submit to it. The Bible tells you in Proverbs 22:3, a wise man sees trouble from afar and hides himself, but the simple walk into it and are punished. The advantage of wisdom is to see trouble before it comes, not while it has come. You have to see it before it comes. Of what use is a gun when the thieves are already in your flat? But when you see them downstairs, you're able to switch off the light, lock the door. That is wisdom, to see it before. And you're arguing with people. People are supervising your affliction, telling you to go back. You that they are beating, those people, are they beating them the way they are beating you? People that are not going through what you are going through are the people telling you what to do in what you are going through. How can someone who does not know how malaria is, they say, why are you doing? They don't know how cancer is. Why is your hair falling? And you're feeling, they don't know the pain. And you keep listening to them. And then you keep going back and then you keep dying. 10 die, you still don't learn your lesson. I told my daughter, any man slaps you, meta, return with threefold. You would then now call me. Call me anywhere, anytime. That man will never, ever slap any woman again. I tell you, please, if you are tired, just tell me, I'll come and pick my daughter back. It's not, we know at times life, you fall in love, you fall out, but just tell me that I'm not feeling, I won't blame you, I will thank you. That instead of making life miserable for her, you told me to, I will come and I will bring her home. Billy Graham, his daughter, divorced 5 times. Kenneth Copeland is on his 3rd wife. Chris Okote, twice. Oyakilome, there. Iginla, there. But you, the richest people, look at Bill Gates, what happened? Jeff Bezos, what happened? You can't come and kill yourself. If it is not working, it is not working. It is simple. You die like for no reason. Praise the Lord. Yeah, see now I've turned it to a religious disorder. Oh yeah. Please, go ahead, please.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Before this question, Barrister, when I left that marriage, my brother, the second son, said, why? Why are you leaving? Even some people say, go back, go back. But one man of God told me, Madam, leave that marriage. If you did not leave that marriage, you see those people, they will kill you. So I left that marriage that week that Osinachi, that singer, died, that week. Because whenever we started arguments with that my former husband, he would tell me, I will stab you now. I will stab you. And whenever he said to, I would just quiet. So after that very day, if he's coming, if I saw him coming, I would just carry the 2 knives I have. I will go somewhere to go and hide that knife so that he will not see and stab me. In the same compound, there is another couple again. When they started their own fight, you self, I don't know, all the tenants will just
everybody will stood. But I will be the only one that will come out and tell the man, if you kill this woman here, I will lock this gate. You will not go out. I will quickly call landlord. The other day, he bought a machete. That is the husband of that woman, my former compound. He bought machete. He went to Lansing bus stop. He bought machete. He started from the gate and started scratching that machete to inside the house. When he get there, he now carried the woman's head at the iron of a window. He just hit the woman everywhere, just swell up. They have raped before. The woman carried the children and go. But the people of the lady now contributed money. They rent house for her. After like 2 months, she went back and accepted the man back. So the man now is giving her a tough time. So even she's the one that said I should not go anywhere. Even if you are going, just drop your children for this man and just go if you want to go. I said I will not drop my children. They are only 2. So they are my ID card. They are everything. So when I left, I started trying. I started doing one business or the Imago, just doing it. So like when Barrister said, those are Igbo ladies. Many of them are graduates, but when you go to international trade fair, you see many of them doing business, sitting in one place. They are all graduates. So all those things, I said, what I'm asking now is that because of children, can someone leave marriage and leave children? Because there's one in the compound.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, the compound I'm staying now, there's one boy. If you see the way they are maltreating this boy, one day I called him and said, "Oh, what about your mother and your father?" I say, "I don't know my mother and my father."
No, okay. So when you left, you took your children, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you leave them behind?
They are my ID card, sir.
Sorry?
They are my ID card.
Okay. So I had 5 dogs, 5 German Shepherds. I love dogs. And there was one that was always giving birth, even when we did not, that I would lock that she must not get pregnant. I don't know how she just gets pregnant. But then you see her carrying the children. If she lies down here, she's turning, she feels uncomfortable, she finds somewhere comfortable, she'll come back, carry the children there. An animal knows what is good for their child, but a human being has to think about rescuing their child. I think there's something wrong with the human race. I am a man. When I had a child before I got married from a terrible abusive relationship, I was 10 years older than she. She would slap me. On my mother's 70th birthday, she tore my agbada right on the dance floor. So, I broke it off. And she came back about 5 months after we had broken up that she was pregnant. I've shared the story. So afterwards, it was, I must marry her. And, they started using the child. Then after some time, I didn't see the child. I went to court. I'm a father. I went to court. I fought in court for 2 years and 6 months to get custody of that boy. Because I knew she wasn't taken care of. She had no job. She wasn't even bothered. But she held on to the child so as to be able to connect with me in pain, knowing that I loved my son. I fought and I won. The magistrate said, you are supposed to be the mother and she is supposed to be. The way I fought in court, I had 3 lawyers. I sacked the 3 lawyers and took over right there in court. Because initially I thought I would be a gentleman in court, but when I saw, when they told her to bring my son, the court ordered, because I had not seen the boy in 3 years. I couldn't eat, because as I'm eating, I'll be wondering, is my son eating? So how can you leave your child behind and then sleep comfortably, knowing you ran away from danger, but your children are where you ran away from? Does it require thought? When we were in court and the magistrate ordered the mother of my child then to go and bring my child, she went to bring another child. She didn't bring my child, she brought another child. So when in court I saw from behind, they were talking and I looked, I had not seen my son in 3 years. So, I went behind and I looked, I looked in front, The magistrate said, Mr. Mashibi, is there a problem? I said, yeah, this is not my son. Where's my son? She said, Omoeni. This is his child. I looked at the child, I said, this is not my child. It became, this is your child. Then the magistrate said, what do you mean? And said, are you telling me a mother will not know the child she had for you? I said, I am the father now. I know that it became, when I got angry and I told the magistrate that I was expecting you would say we should do a DNA test. So the magistrate would take that as, am I telling her what to do? I did not care, but she saw it was from pain. I just noticed that everything I got in this life is like I had to fight to get it. Nothing came easy for me. My father, God bless his soul, was the best man you could, but he didn't live very long, and it was the same family matter. But I had to fight even to go to law school. They didn't give me law school form. I had to go to Abuja to meet the director and DG of law school. And he said I should wait till the next session. I said, while my mates at University of Ibadan had a problem, you would wait 1 year and you would join both the other. So I said, I waited 1 year. I said, sir, please, you have to. But he was looking at me that the audacity, who sent us? I said, no, I just came. He said I should leave. I didn't leave. Then he said, what's your name? Then I thought, this man might just cancel my name from going to. And eventually he sent more. When he said, okay, don't worry. After, then the secretary came and said, Emapo. I said, that I have to go to law school. I fought. So because of me, they sent 10 extra papers, admission forms to the University of Ibadan. By the time I traveled back from Abuja to University of Ibadan, they had given it out again to people, lecturers, children who did not make. That was why I changed it for the dean. I said, Dean. He said, well, I said, do you even know how this 10 came about? So I think I fought for everything. And then I know that the kingdom of God would always suffer, and you have to, don't expect anything to come easy. Don't expect, I fought. And I got custody of this. So people that are saying, they will always give children to the mothers. Look at me, I got my own. I got my own son. I would not leave him. When I won the case, my son jumped at me. He had scabies. He had ulcer. Because she wasn't feeding. One weekend, she would give him limca and 1 gala. That's the mother. And she goes out for days. And he will be there. I took pictures. My son said in court, thank you, Daddy, for coming to get me. I will never forget. But, some men are just comfortable there. I knew. So you don't leave your child. Me, I don't know this one that you're going to go. The first thing I do is I would take, once I see that I could lose him, I would take forcefully, then we go to court. You fight for these things, but those don't go beyond the law to an extent that the law will no longer consider you an option. But you fight. I want peace. I will fight for the peace. Do you think peace is something that you walk into? Peace is something you fight for. Everybody's just waiting. They're praying to God to do it for God. Do it for me. God, do it for me. See, there's people that work and people that pray. And you've heard that faith without works is dead. So you need works. God will not give you fried rice and chicken. You will work to get the money to go and buy the rice, and you will cook. Get your children, especially if it is abuse. Don't leave any child behind. Why? Because children raised in abusive homes will grow up to become abusive adults. That is how abuse passes from generation to generation. You caused it. Why? You ran. You left them. And now your old age will be used to be settling the disputes between your child and their husbands and wives. What you ran away from is what your son has become. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think I will start by thanking our mommy Alakija. God bless you. And to Barrister also. I can now agree for 2 things you told us about that is giving this continent, especially Nigeria, a problem. The voice of religion and the voice of tradition. I'm ashamed of myself also, looking at this all, are full. If you are to be Emu Rorowa, Emu Omewa, I know this place will full to be brave. What we've learned here, you cannot read it in any book. There is no book. I don't know the collection of books you can gather together to get this information. And I will continue to pray for you and mommy and everybody here, because this is an open, honestly,
open mic.
Honestly, and particularly the next edition, I myself, I will drag some people down here, because when they know this, you will not be settling any matter. The power to be settling matter, I will use that power to bring, so that this place can be full. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have 10 minutes left. Yes.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Barrister, you've always talked about that friendship should start any form of communication, then before advancing to relationship and then marriage.
Yes.
But I discovered, I know someone who in 2018 went to the marriage committee. You just get to know the lady. He just wants to know the lady. And at the committee, they were now talking about marriage already. Okay, so this is the way you go to plan your meetings for your wedding that is coming up. And the guy was like, on his own, he's still thinking about, let me get to know this person. But due to the environment, is not there to get to know the individual. So at the end, he was not comfortable with the settings because it was just bypassing that friendship level. So how do we just oppose this? So eventually he went out with the lady outside the committee just to have an outing. So somewhere around the Aba, and the lady was just directing him, sit down here. Why am I here? Why this? And the guy was, this is like a bossy kind of person. So he was not so comfortable with her at the end of it. But though, now I'm trying to juxtapose her own feeling and behavior towards the guy, because the ladies are taught that the guy should define the relationship at the beginning. So how do we compensate this? Because this is what is being taught to every one of them, that don't start a relationship that will just
From where? Taught to them by who?
By the media, all the media.
Which media? Who is the media? The marriage committee. So the problem comes with orientation. And that is why when you want to mix doctrine, I have told you that even the same Bible says wisdom is profitable to direct. Abi? But when you mix, you take away wisdom and you put doctrine. Doctrine cannot direct. It is wrong from the beginning. I criticized this seriously, and it got to the, it was after that Pastor Kumuyi of Deeper Life came out and said he cancelled the marriage committee. That it was not scriptural, it was his own thinking to help. But now, it's as if it is spoiling more marriages than helping. The video is, I think I played the video online about 2 years ago when people were, Deeper Lifers came and was like, no, I played it for them. He said he cancelled it. If you cannot be friends, you cannot be lovers. After the sex is over, it is the friendship that keeps you. You know that I saw him, my heart do jigby like railway, and you can't. Okay, after all the romance is over, then what happens? You will be, and there is no friendship. Friendship brings out the beauty of any. If you cannot communicate, you can't talk, you can't play with it. I'm a playful person with my own inner kokoso. I'm very. My house is just. We are not serious people in the house. We are not serious. My house is not a serious house. So I now come and I'm with someone who is very sensitive emotionally that, I will have to be explaining and explaining, I didn't mean this. It will not work. So you have to know the person before you marry, before you even go into the conversation of spending time. So when people want to skip steps, dating is getting to know the character of a person. Even to be friends, you need time to know the person. The best friends are in schools. Why? Because you spend a lot of time in school. So you see them, you talk to them, you sit next to them, and then you see that. Sorry, please, how many people have best friends here? You have a best friend. You have a closest friend. Thank you for telling it. So how many people received their best friend spiritually? God told you that this will be your best friend. And your best friend will know more about you than your wife before you married her, because they know what you did in school that you didn't tell you. They know you, they know your past, and they are still your friends. But you did not receive them spiritually. That friendship is natural. Even dogs, when they get to know your scent, they become your friend. You must be able to talk. The man came to my office. I mentioned this, the marriage that lasted 3 hours. In my office now. On their way to honeymoon was when the marriage ended. Why? Because they did that marriage committee. They were not even allowed to visit each other at home. Somebody had to come. They will have to open windows and doors so that they won't allow you to be at home. Even in church, you can't sit down side by side. In the marriage, men will sit here. So they didn't really know until after marriage. And that is the funny thing. You separate people all through the dating. Then in marriage, you just throw them together in the house. What caused the fight? Charger, phone charger. Phone type C, is it BlackBerry charger? Was what they were using, about the same phone, and the man asked to use her charger. That was it. But you are now married. How can you marry strangers, people you don't know? When you were younger, they said stranger danger. Avoid strangers. You grew up to marry the strangers you were raised to avoid. You have to know something about them. Know their temperament. Is he hot-tempered? Does he lie? Is he a jealous person? Is she jealous? Is she malicious? You have to know. There are 7 traits I keep telling you that you cannot anywhere, anytime. You can. Once you see this, you run. You cannot walk. You have to teach. Thank you very much, everyone. It's 3 o'clock. Barrister Olamide, I've been calling her since. Please, can you come forward? My name is Olumide Kayode Omoshebi, and of course, I'm a lawyer, and I run a foundation called the Gnosis Help Initiative. What we do is to help victims of domestic violence and abuse. I'm on air every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on a program called Relationship 360. And I'm also live every Thursday evening, 8:10 p.m. to 9:10 p.m. on Instagram on a program called Just Before You Say I Do. So she is a partner of mine and she was supposed to anchor the program. She is a MC for today, but due to, everybody is still getting used to this venue. The next time you will see that it will be full because we're still trying to navigate. And I want to say special thank you to Mommy, servant leader of the Rose of Sharon Glorious Ministry International, for collaborating with us and giving us a place to share this knowledge. There is also a program that holds here called the University of Marriage, where you are being taught. In fact, let me just keep quiet. I can't speak more than Mommy. Your mic is here. Yes.
The University of Marriage has been on for about 12 and a half years now. When God told me to write a book on marriage, and he gave me the title, which is University of Marriage. we turned it into a program as well. So we have University of Marriage retreats here, and we do have an annual conference as well, which always comes up second Saturday of September of every year. When we ran those conferences, after about 2 or 3, the singles in the audience started craving for their own conference as well. So we do have one for singles as well in June, also at this premises. So God is concerned about all of us, and he wants us to enjoy our marriages, and he is the one who will have to continue to give us the wisdom that we need to apply to these relationships so that we can enjoy them and not endure them. So God bless you. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't come in on time. As Barrister Lumide said, I couldn't navigate this place on time. So I hope that subsequently I'll be able to come in earlier than expected. In addition to what Barrister Lumide said, you talked about women can be foolish and submission and all of that. In my years of practice, because I do a lot of family law, and I'm in court every day for one reason or the other. So what I would like to add is that in most cases, where the problem stems from is values. We don't have aligned values with our spouses. So if you say submission in marriage is very important. It is very important. But what are you submitting to? So if you're a woman that is smart, please marry a man that is smarter. If you're a woman that is educated, marry a man that is more educated than you. Marry a man whose values align with yours. So there will be less strife in the marriage. Family values is very important. You can't marry beneath you. In most cases, it will not work. You can't marry a man who is not as exposed as you are. In most cases, it will not work. Marriage is like a destination. They tie two people together and they say, get to this destination at a particular time. And they tie you together. You have one purpose. Now, if they tie me, an amateur, with, say, with a boat, and they say, get to a particular destination together, there are only 2 options. Because I'm not a professional, he's a professional. Is either he carries me and we start running to the destination, or he waits for me. So there are just 2 options. So he will be getting irritated because I cannot be at his pace. And I don't want to be, I cannot go as fast. So I will be struggling, he will be struggling. So there are only 2 options. Is either he breaks loose and takes off, or wait for me. Because we don't have shared values. We are going to the same destination, but we're not on the same wavelength. So please, what will happen? In most cases, divorce. So from the beginning, please marry somebody that you're on the same wavelength, that you have the same pace, you have the same ideas. It is always, always the best idea. It saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of strife. It saves a lot of time in the courts. And to also add to what Barrister Lumide said, we're talking about bride price. I'm a lawyer that is in practice. So what I would say, I've always had problems with this bride price, returning of bride price. There are 2 ways to end the customary marriage. Is either you return the bride price or you approach the customary court. So if the person doesn't want to receive the bride price, because customary marriage has a lot to do with witnesses, if you return his bride price via text messaging and all that, he can delete it and say that it didn't happen. So because of the issue of witnesses, if you cannot return the bride price in the presence of family members, because most of the time, customary marriage is a union of 2 marriages, of 2 families, not individuals. It is only statutory marriage that is 2 individuals. In customary marriage, they recognize family. So if you want to return the bride price, ensure that the family members are there. If they cannot be there, what Barrister Olumide said is correct. But because of evidence for your future, please go to the customary marriage court, and they will divorce you even without returning the bride price. So it's neater that way. And you have a certificate that shows that you are separated, you are divorced. Because you cannot move to another marriage, especially statutory marriage, if you have not dissolved, even if you have been separated for 30 years. And you do not return the bride price or go to the customary marriage. If you go to another marriage, it will not be valid. Though a lot of people get away with it. But in most cases, where it comes to play is during the time of inheritance. Then they will now come out and say, this woman is still married. I've seen it happen. Most of the times I'm in court and we have issues of inheritance. The first thing I tell them is, what kind of marriage was contracted? Let's even start from there. Is she properly divorced? Was this man properly divorced from this woman? So I've seen a marriage of 30 years. The man was previously married under the customary marriage, but did not return the bride price, and this was an SAN, and did not go to the customary court, and married another woman. Upon his death, the law was which marriage is valid? It's the customary marriage. And the other woman, who was married for 25 years, could not have access to his property, because the kind of marriage you contract during your lifetime affects your inheritance, especially someone who dies intestate. And intestate means without a will. So I think there is a little, they will come back for that to talk about marriage and how it affects inheritance. So on this note, I would like to say thank you very much for everybody that's come here. We hope that you come again. And Barrister Olumide, I'm really thankful for you inviting me here, and I hope to come here again. And thank you, Mommy. This is my first time of meeting you. Well done, Ma, for all what you do. So on this note, we'll be bringing this to a close. Thank you very much for everyone who has come here. Thank you.